Over 5 million people play football in the USA, and here to bring it to you in the raw, uncut, unadulterated is the undisputed #1 sports show in Atlanta and abroad. 100 yards of football, live from headquarters. It's more than a game, more than a show. It's where football blends culture, economics, and society. Tap in, tune in, and lock in to 100 yards of football now.
Hello and welcome to 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm your host this evening, Logan Landers, and joining me to talk about the 2021 Stanford Cardinal team preview is my man, my co-host for the Unscripted Sports Podcast, and one of my best friends in the sports broadcasting industry is my man, Jay McLovin. What's up, Jay?
Hey, not much. My brother from another mother. We're doing really good and ready to kick this bad boy off.
Yes, sir. Let's do it. We got the Stanford Cardinal team here today. Like I said, don't play the 6 games last year with all the COVID craziness going on, so they're hoping just to get the fans back in the stadium to watch a good season of football and get a full season out the way, man, because that's what I know a lot of these teams are hoping to do, and it's going to be a fun season, man, just for college football in general. It's going to be great to see all the fans back and going crazier than ever, man. It's going to be fun to see. But be sure if you guys enjoy this content here this evening, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Whether you're watching us live on Facebook, YouTube, or on Twitch, thank you so much for all that you've been doing for this show over the last few weeks, months, and even years, man. We try to put out a bunch of content about as many college football teams, as many NFL teams, or as much football as we can on a weekly basis. So thank you guys so much for doing all that. Also, please go check out our podcast if you've not done so already. We're available on seemingly every single podcast platform you can listen to, thanks to the Believe Podcast Network, who've been helping us out for pretty much a year now for getting our stuff out there and for helping us get a platform to showcase us on a digital and for a listening level. So thank you guys so much for all of that. So, Jay, let's talk about the Stanford Cardinals, man. We were talking pregame. They might need to change their logo because it's a little bit nicer if you haven't already. I was thinking, I usually just put the logos here for our background. I was thinking about being a little mean and just putting the mascot here, but I figured, hey, we got to get some views off this, so I decided to just go with the logo to keep things safe. So what do you like about this team, man, coming into 2021?
Yeah, they have a couple of things to like about it. They had a nice comeback last year. They scored 24 points or more in 5 of those games. They played 6 games. And out of the 6 games, they scored 24 or more. So they didn't do too bad on that side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, they didn't generate a lot on the pass rush, but at least they were. Matter of fact, they were. I hate to say this, man. I like things I like, but honestly, this is some things that you just don't like. And and they put out the least efficient in the Pac-12 with just 2 picks. So they gave up a lot of points in 35 or more in 3 of the 6 games. So. What do you like? Okay, I like they got 24 points a game 5 out of 6 times. What do I hate? They got 35 points 5 out of 6. Where do you go with that? I don't know. I tell you, they have a pretty decent schedule coming up ahead of themselves. The running game wasn't special. Travis Davis-Mills and the passing attack were strong as the O led the Pac-12 and the third down conversions, and they did a good job of controlling the clock. Starters should be back. So I guess if there's a positive takeaway, starters should be back for this team. Now we have to build upon that, right? They got to build upon it. We'll get more into that in a minute. What exactly did you like about this team, Logan?
Yeah, I mean, I thought they had a pretty decent schedule last year. They went 4-2 in 6 games, so they did pretty decent. But coming into 2021, I got to see who that quarterback's going to be because you lost Davis Mills. He's with the Houston Texans now. So your starting QB is out the door. Who are you going to get to replace him? They have a few guys who they're looking to get. They have Jack West, 6'4", 215-pounder, who threw only 19 passes last year. But whenever he had his chances, he looked good. You also have Tanner McKee, who's 6'6", 228, who was a guy who had a lot of hype around him. We'll see if he can get the ball some. You never know. So I think that I would give the slight edge to Jack West only because he threw the ball at least a little bit last year. But I need to see how this new quarterback is going to come into the season, man, because, I mean, we've talked about some teams before who coming into this year, they don't have a set quarterback. They're going to have QB battles. And this is probably going to be another one, it looks like, that you don't know who your starting front man's going to be. And that's kind of what leads the team to rally against these good wins is who's going to be your quarterback. So that's the big question for me coming in this year is, are you going to be able to replace Davis Mills with Jack West? Or are you going to have Tanner McKee come in and have a good season? So we're going to have to see. But you did lose your leading receiver to Jay, your team, and also our guy, Mr. Football, Vincent Turner. You lost Samim Fehoko to the Dallas Cowboys. But it's all right, though. It's all right. You might have lost him. But you do have Bryson Tremaine, who's coming back after he almost had 19 yards a catch last year. So he is a solid back, and he finished second on the team in yards last year. So I think that he could possibly take that next big step, Jay, and be that new number one receiver. They're going to need him to, but right. I think that I believe in him. He did good last year, and he's going to be fine. Also, you have Michael Wilson, who did solid as well in just 4 games as well. And then you also have Elijah Higgins. So you have 3 of your 4 top targets coming back for this brand new quarterback. So I think, and like you mentioned with the running game, I think that should be fine. I think that overall the Stanford offense is going to be fine this year. I mean, do you have any other thoughts on the offense before we move over to the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, it was interesting. You like Jack West, and I actually like Tanner McKee. I think Tanner McKee. Okay. I think that big dude, 6'6" guy, 228, superstar recruit. I really do. I like Tanner McKee. I actually have him being my key for them to have a successful season is going to Tanner McKee. So that will be interesting. That's one game I'm going to keep an eye on to see which one comes out of it. You got your favorite. I got my favorite. Not that I'm a Stanford guy because I'm really not. But it would be interesting now to kind of just see, which way they do go with that.
Yeah, we'll see, man. But like I said, there's a bunch of QB battles. You had a lot of guys who transferred, a lot of guys who got drafted, like Davis Mills, who was at this program. So we'll see who ends up taking that starting job for the Stanford Cardinal team this upcoming year. But let's move over to the defense, Jay. What do you like about this Stanford defense, man? What can they do to improve and to just tighten up that ship a little bit?
Well, Logan, they didn't necessarily generate a lot of that pass rush. So I would like to see I definitely want to see more pass rush come out of that. Matter of fact, I put I would like to see more pass rush, but they also have to stop the run deep. The run defense has to be better. So I think if they can improve upon their run defense and their pass rush, I think it's going to be a lot better team than they were last year. They gave up 35 points, like I said. 30. I was actually wrong. I said 5 out of 6. They gave up 35 points 3 out of the 6 games. So they obviously are giving up a lot of points per game, and they're not scoring as many as what they were giving up. So that is a kind of a concern. They have leading tackler Curtis Robinson, who's gone from the linebacking core, but Levani Damuni is a big 6'2", 247-pound presence in the inside, and he finished with 42 stops. So they're losing some guys, they're gaining some guys. The line has the size to go along with the experience. Yep. So they have a decent-sized offensive line with 300-pounder Dalen Wade Perry, and who's the anchor at the nose. And then you have Thomas Booker, who's 6'4", 310. NFL-looking 3-4 end is what he is. Who could boost his stock in a big way with a few more sacks. So they got the size on the line to hold the ball. They have what I think is going to be a decent linebacking core. And I think the secondary I don't really particularly like too much because they gave up 217 yards a game. But they do have 3 out of the 4 starters back, and Kendall Williamson is one of the team's better tacklers at the safety spot. The junior quarter tandem of Salem Turner Muhammad and Caillou Blue Kelly are big and can move. And I do think that they're going to get better, but they have to start cutting down a little bit on that 217 yards a game. I don't like that 217 passing yards.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jay. I mean, if you're a Cardinal fan, your defense got absolutely gutted this offseason. You lost, like you mentioned, your top tackler in Curtis Robinson. He's gone. You also lost your top pass rusher in Thomas Schaefer. He's gone. And then just finally, the final blow, you lost your top defensive back in Malik Antoine also as well. So you lost 3 of your top guys on defense. Are you going to be able to replace them with a defense, like you said, who already kind of struggled last year? I mean, they ranked 11th in the Pac-12 in rushing defense. They didn't do good on passing defense either. So for a team who was already kind of hurting for defense and to lose those 3 guys, I mean, man, I hate to see it, but You lost a lot of your guys. I don't see the defense getting a whole lot better this year, but I'd be welcome for if you guys surprise me though. I mean, hopefully you can get a breakout year from Ricky Meezan, who's got a lot of potential, but he just needs to stay on the field though. That's a big one, man. Also Paulson Adebo, he's left as well. He didn't play last year, but he's gone. And so, I mean, the defense has just really been hurt the last few seasons, whether it was injuries or just poor play. But I think it's going to be all right, though. I mean, I think the offense is definitely going to have to carry the load this year. If they're going to want to win a lot of games, they're going to have to just score more points. But like we mentioned, with a QB battle, you're not too sure. I'm not too sure how that's going to work out for the Stanford Cardinals. But I think that overall, I think this team's going to be fine. But let's get into the schedule, Jay. Let's talk about the schedule for Stanford, who they got coming up this year in the Pac-12. And it ain't easy. It is not an easy schedule by any means necessary. I see USC, I see UCLA, Oregon, Arizona State, Washington, Utah. And then to end things out at the end of the year, Jay, they just happen to throw Notre Dame at the last game of the season. So what do you think about this the schedule coming up for the Cardinal? And, man, what do you think their win record's going to be? Do you think it's going to be good, or are you going to have to deliver some bad news for the Stanford faithful?
Yeah, so, you got the Pac-12 opener up against USC, which is a pretty good, tough team to play under as your opener. Like you said, they got the Huskies, they got ASU, Notre Dame, Oregon. It seems like this is the year, or this is the episodes, the last 3 episodes we've done have been really – about 7-6, 8-5 type teams, and that's kind of where I put them at. 7-6, 8-5 is where I pretty much put this team as well. And I said I think that's just because they have questions at the quarterback spot, and their defense has a few issues on it that I'd like to see improved upon. So I could see 7-6, 8-5. Honestly, Logan.
Yeah, I see this team getting anywhere from, honestly, Jay, 5 to 7 wins this year. It's a tough schedule. I don't know how this defense is going to shake out this year. The offense, I mean, the whole quarterback battle thing, that's always going to be a question mark that we always talk about. You're not sure just how these guys, if they're going to step up. You just don't have the numbers or anything in front of you either. So it's hard to see. So I think 5 to 7 wins is where I see this team going this year. They're still trying to rebuild. They're still trying to get their program back to where it was, about 10, maybe 5-10 years ago, back when they were absolutely, running through people in the Pac-12. So hopefully they can get there soon, but I don't see it happening this year. Like I said, your defense is just too gutted. I need to see just a little bit better offense production from whoever the quarterback's going to be. So those are my 2 keys to end things out. What are your final thoughts on this program, man?
Yeah, I want to talk about Tanner McKee just real quick.
Go ahead.
I see this guy kind of. He was considered by some people in the industry that he is the 3rd best pro style passer in the league behind some guy named JT Daniels and Trevor Lawrence, if you can believe that. but he's a pro style guy. I think Tanner McKee is going to be a pro style guy, and I do see him playing well. The keys to the offense, the key to the defense is stop the run. They gave up way too many tackles. They did not generate enough tackles for loss, and they weren't generating enough physicality to it. So they need to be more physical. They have 4 200-yard rushing games. Come on, man. How are you giving up 4 200-yard rushing games?
That's rough. That's hard to come back from.
Yeah, they weren't generating enough on that end of the stick, to be honest with you. Key in the offense, running game. Can it ever get its groove back? I mean, when you guys got like Christian McCaffrey, Bryce Love, Tony Gerhart, who get 1,530 yards. Stephon Taylor, who had got 1,700 yards rushing, and then you got Tyler Gaffney. I mean, look, man, this program has had big time runners, and let's be honest. I put my offensive player I put that needs to be the best is Austin Jones. He's fast. Yeah. He's an active as a receiver. He has 35 catches in the first 2 seasons. And his running game is 85 yards or more in 5 out of the last 6. So he's got 550 yards and 550 yards and 9 scores. So Austin Jones, you're going to have to join the likes of McCaffrey and generate this better running game if you want this team to be successful. Because let's be honest, when you got a quarterback controversy, you don't know what you're getting completely. But I do think that with Tanner McKee, if he can come out and do what I think he's going to do, and then you put him up with Aaron Jones coming out of the backfield, along with those 3 wideouts that we got, I think this could be a potentially good offense. But it's going to have to generate more from that run. And on the flip side of the ball, they're going to have to do more to stop the run. Yeah. So that's where the key thing is, running the ball and stopping the run.
Yeah, there's definitely some potential with the offense. We'll see if it can take a nice step this season, or if it might take another year. You never know. As for the defense, I'm going to have to see just, like you said, a better effort, honestly. You lost a lot of your big guys. Can the new ones step in? They're going to be happy to play a full season. They're going to be able to get their feet wet a little bit more. So we'll see. But like I mentioned, man, I think this team is anywhere from 5 to 7 wins this season. I think they can still turn it around. But I just don't think that they're quite yet. But we'll have to see, man. They might surprise some people. You never know. Crazy things have happened in college football over the last couple of years. So we'll see what this Cardinal team is up to, man. But like I said, you're almost there. You just got to keep with the program, and I think they'll be fine in a couple of seasons. Well, hey, if you guys have enjoyed this content here tonight, please, thank you guys so much for tuning in, first and foremost, whether you're watching us on Facebook, YouTube, or on Twitch. Also, if you've not already, please go check out our podcast. We upload daily episodes anywhere from 15 to 45 minutes. You can catch us on any of your podcast streaming platforms, such as Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, we're even on Audible now with your Amazon account, so please go check us out over there and leave us a nice review if you can do that, please. Like I said, we upload daily content. We have everything you want: team previews, draft profiles, legends interviews. We've had former, Hall of Famers on the show, guys who just got drafted in the NFL draft recently. We've had them on, so please go check us out and be sure to leave us a review over there as well. Well, hey, like I mentioned, man, this is for my co-host for the Unscripted Sports Podcast, and on Wednesdays, Jay McLovin. And thanks so much for coming out talking about the Stanford Cardinal team and their 2021 team preview. I've been your host, Logan Landers. Hey, you guys have a safe weekend, and we'll be back with you next week for some more great football content. See you then.
What is your favorite moment from football history? What teams and players are you cheering on? And who will win it all? We want to hear from you, our listeners. Head over to 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk Radio's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch and leave us a comment. We might use your suggestion in an upcoming episode. Tune in daily to the podcast and watch our show live every week. We are 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk Radio on the Believe Podcast Network.